spouse, your mother-in-law, your nosy neighbor, or your co-workers. We all have people in our lives who are a little difficult to get along with. Dr. Amy Johnson is here to give us some advice on how to deal with those kind of personalities. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Well, you know, you can't escape it, whether it's in your work life, your personal life, anything, whether it's at the counter at the deli. No soup for you. Yeah. I mean, you can't escape it. It's everywhere.
Yeah, it is everywhere, and you can't always escape it. And sometimes you can, but sometimes you don't want to quit your job or leave your family behind, and so it behooves you to learn how to deal with it a little bit differently.
Yeah, you're not going to like everybody. Not everybody's going to like you. I mean, that's been proven on Facebook with us. But you know, what can you do? I mean, what you say, people aren't inherently mean. They've got other issues.
Yeah, I think a really key thing is to consider the perspective that no one is born mean. You know, I don't know about you, but I've never met a mean baby.
Right.
We don't come out that way. And of course, babies grow up to sometimes do mean things, but just to notice that those mean behaviors have insecurity and fear and pain behind them, not some innate meanness. That's really important. It's really helpful just to know that, because it's so much easier to take meanness in stride when you can see that maybe someone's hurting or insecure, as opposed to when you believe that they're inherently evil.
What about jealousy? Does that factor in there as well?
It does. I mean, jealousy is the exact same thing. It's really just insecurity, and it can trigger us when someone is jealous or showing those behaviors. But just note that it is just triggering your own stuff. We all have our own brands of insecurity. You know, we all have that.
Well, how do you not take that friction personally? I mean, is there, you know, I mean, how do you not? It's hard sometimes when someone's yelling at you and you're like, ooh.
It's very hard. And the thing is, I mean, we're sort of wired to take it personally. We're all the center of our own universe, you know, not in a selfish bad way. It's just the way we're wired. And so, I mean, the truth of the matter is it's not personal. What someone does or says is really a reflection of what's going on within them. They would do that, you know, across many people. It's never about us. And yet, just know that we're always going to fall for it. We're always going to think, why are they doing this to me? And we're going to get offended and feel like it is about us. But it never really is about us. And, you know, remembering that, again, just helps you to overlook it. If we're imagining that it's a personal attack, it's so much harder to overlook.
Now, you know, there's always got to be one or two people in the office that, you know, nobody gets along with and everybody kind of gossips about or whatever. I mean, that's got to be hard too, just hoping they'll quit their job, but it's always a challenge.
Yeah, and sometimes, you know, when there is that one person that does it in a lot of situations, it's almost easier in a sense, because you don't take it as personally, and you do see that this is just something with this person. You know, it doesn't mean that you want to go to lunch with them and hang out with them after work, but if you're stuck with them, you know, to some extent, it is on them. It's a reflection of them.
Now, do you actually suggest forgiving them for their difficult behavior or not? I mean, can you forgive them or not?
The thing is, I mean, forgiveness is a funny thing, because there are as many realities as there are people on earth. And so we talk about walking in someone else's shoes, but we can't ever really do that. I'll never see things the way you do and vice versa, you know, exactly. And so we get so upset when someone's mean and we think, you know, oh, I would never do that, or I can't believe she did that. And we're right. We would never do that, but that doesn't mean that we're right and they're wrong. It just means that we're not in their shoes in that moment with all their insecurities and all their thinking that's leading them there. So it isn't so much about forgiveness as it is, I think, about understanding this idea of separate realities, that we're all doing the best we can, you know, given the way that we see the world and all of our own kind of hidden pain. And, you know, we're doing the best we can. So understanding that just makes it much easier.
It's hard, too, to think something's fair, something's not fair. Why does she get this? Why does he get that? You know, it's really hard.
There's never going to be one fair. And,
I know, you got to accept it. You just got to. Thank you, Amy, for being with us.
Thank
and for
you.
more advice on life tips, you can visit Dr. Amy's website, dramyjohnson.com.